Hello and welcome. This is TV Papua News of May 2013. Within this episode, 50 years of Indonesian occupation, ongoing military operations in Papuan Highlands, international concern about suppression in West Papua, human rights lawyers in West Papua win international award, book presentation about Arnold Ap's vision, Jennifer Robinson holds speech at Tedx event, upcoming meeting MelanesianSpearheadGroup discussing West Papua application, and Indonesian president wins award for tolerance. But first we start with 50 years of Indonesian occupation. 50 years ago, on the 1st of May 1963, the United Nations Temporary Executive Authority, UNTEA, transferred the administration of the Dutch colony of Netherlands New Guinea to Indonesia. And that from that moment, Indonesia took over the administration from UNTEA. And then the oppression started of the West Papuan people. And 50 years later, the oppression continues. And so does the struggle of West Papuan people for self-determination. West Papuans marched against 50 years of Indonesian occupation on May 1st. Indonesian police, army and Papuan governor Lukas Anembe had refused to give permission for the peaceful demonstrations. However, the marches were being held all over West Papua and even beyond. Here follows a short report in different areas. In Sorong, human rights activists from ELSHAM, which is the Institute for the Study and Advocacy of Human Rights in West Papua, reported that Indonesian security forces shot dead 2 Papuan protesters and wounded 2 others on the night before the demonstrations, when activists hold a preparational meeting for the march the following day. And in Jayapura, the capital of West Papua, as much as 500 West Papuan activists marched through the streets, carrying drums, flutes and banners. And many of the banners were decorated with the photos of the many Papuan victims of torture by Indonesian security forces. Local independent journalists reported that security personnel forcibly loaded activists into a military truck, wanting to transport them to a military base 13 kilometers away. But before they reached the base, the truck was forced to stop, after which the activists managed to escape. Independent journalists also reported that the police attempted to arrest the well-known protest leader, Marcus Janu. They were prevented, however, by activists who positioned themselves between the police and Marcus Janu, whom then disappeared into this crowd and has been reported to gone into hiding. In the meanwhile, police, army and citizens organized the counter-demonstrations, driving to the streets of Jayapura with huge Indonesian flags. In Sentani, a peaceful demonstration with speeches by KNPB chairman Victor Yemo and a worship service was held without reported terror from Indonesian security forces. But in Wamena, however, the security forces did manage to break up the demonstrations before they got to their actions. And in Biak, pro-independence activists raised the West Papuan Morning Star flag. But then, according to ELSHAM, the demonstration was forcibly dispersed by police. And an unknown number of activists have been arrested during these police actions. And in Fakfak, ELSHAM reported that the Morning Star flag was raised at 3 different locations. In Nabire, which is the district capital of Panyai, a press conference was held by the Coalition of Papuan People from Nabire, which is a group of human rights defenders working together with church workers. The speakers at the press conferences declared West Papua's incorporation in Indonesia, the Act of Free Choice in 1969, special autonomy and the Unit for Acceleration of Development in West Papua are all problems that remained unsolved. Also beyond Papua there were reports of demonstrations by Papuans in Java, for example, and also solidarity demonstrations in New Caledonia. To honor the killed, tortured and detained activists at the demonstrations on the 1st of May, and to demand international human rights of freedom of expression, the KNPB, student organizations, NGOs and churches hold a peaceful demonstration in Jayapura again on the 13th of May. The rally was provoked and attacked, however, by police with excessive force. The police did already ban the demonstration, but the KNPB insisted on their right to freedom of speech and expression. Victor Yemo stated before the demonstration, "We are protesting for our sisters, our mothers, our brothers and our fathers, who have been killed by the Indonesian police and military. Are we animals who don't have a heart and feeling on this planet? Our people have died and we are protesting. Is that illegal?" Altogether, 7 activists have been arrested for their role in these peaceful protests, and all have been subjected to severe beatings during their arrest, according to sources. Except for Victor Yemo, the rest have been released. Victor is still being detained until today, without further information. In the meanwhile, ongoing military operations in Papuan Highlands. Credible and very disturbing reports are continuing to emerge from Tinggi Ngambut, in the Puncak Jaya region in West Papua Highlands, detailing evidence of another violent rampage by the Indonesian Army Special Forces, also known as Kopassus, against civilians throughout May, which is following an already 5 months of intense operations in this region by joint military forces. The death toll now is mounting, and 6 of the victims are known as village chiefs or social leaders, who got killed when they returned from attendance at the inauguration of new Papuan Governor Lucas Nmb in Jayapura, which they visited on his invitation. To attend the gathering on their way home, they were intercepted, tortured and killed by Kopassus officers. And according to evidence uncovered by human rights investigators in the field and provided to West Papua media, at least 18 headless, mutilated or amputated bodies have since been found in the roadside ditches and drains. Unconfirmed but credible reports are putting the total kills of the mysterious killings at over 41 people. West Papuan human rights activists in Puncak Jaya have also reported that women in villages under the occupation of the Indonesian army forces are being regularly raped by soldiers, with at least 12 documented cases since April and unconfirmed reports of many more. Relatives of the total of 30 missing adults are still searching across Puncak Jaya for their family members. And unconfirmed reports have emerged that Kopassus are also arresting and detained at least 50 more people who were searching for their family members. Wim Medlama, the spokesperson for the KNPB in the region, told KNPBnews.com, "Every person in the community known for activist activities in Puncak Jaya have been interrogated in such a way that the whole community now is terrified to even carry out the usual daily activities." These ongoing military operations and the suppression of peaceful protest have caused international concern about suppression in West Papua. Both Human Rights Commissioner Navi Pillay and Asia Pacific Deputy Director at Amnesty International, Isabella Aradon, expressed their concerns about recent and ongoing suppression in West Papua. These latest incidents are unfortunate examples of the ongoing suppression of freedom of expression and excessive use of force in Papua, according to Pillay, who continued, "I urge the Indonesian government to allow peaceful protest and hold accountable those involved in abuses." We continue with human rights lawyers in West Papua win international award. Gustav Kauer and Olga Hamadi, which are 2 human rights lawyers in West Papua, received the Lawyers for Lawyers Award in Amsterdam on May 31st. Human rights lawyers in West Papua work in extremely difficult circumstances and are often stigmatized as separatists, intimidated and threatened by police, military and intelligence, for only representing Papuans who are regularly arrested for exercising their basic right to freedom of expression. The jury of the award said about the 2 lawyers, "They are a beacon of light in a region where the people have lost their confidence in the legal system and are confronted with violence whenever they protest against the rampant injustice done to their people. These two lawyers show great and ongoing courage in a situation largely ignored by the outside world. And in the Netherlands, a book presentation about Arnold Ap's vision. In The Hague, in the Netherlands, the family of Arnold Ap and anthropologist Frank Hobatka launched a book about the life and vision of Arnold Ap. He was a WestPapuan cultural leader, anthropologist and musician. He was a leader of the cultural group Mambasak and the curator of the Cendrawasih University Museum. He also broadcasted Papuan culture on his weekly radio show. His prominent study and performance of Papuan culture and music was seen by the Indonesian authorities as a challenge to their efforts to promote the Indonesian nationalism and identity in West Papua. And in November 1983 he was arrested by Indonesian special forces and imprisoned and tortured for suspected sympathies with the Free West Papua movement, also known as the OPM. Although no charges were laid, in April 1984 he was killed by a gunshot in his back. Official accounts claim that he was trying to escape. Many supporters believe Ap was executed by Kopassus. Until this day, Arnold Ap and his art remain an inspiration for the Papuan people. His wife and children now live in the Netherlands, where they actively continue to promote the vision of Arnold Ap. In Australia, Jennifer Robinson held a speech at a Tedx event. At a Tedx event in Sydney, the international human rights lawyer Jennifer Robinson talked about her connection with the West Papuan freedom struggle and West Papuan freedom activist Benny Wenda. As an Australian, she grew up right next to West Papua, but not knowing anything about the ongoing struggle. Now after learning all about it and actively contributing to the struggle, she returned to Sydney, Australia, to inform her nationals about the struggle that has always been kept from their sight.
This week marks 50 years since Indonesia occupied West Papua. Since that time, it is estimated that hundreds of thousands of Papuans have been killed or disappeared by the Indonesian military. A person who has an uncompromising commitment to justice and has been the target of intense propaganda by powerful opponents. A person who has been the subject of an Interpol Red Notice and has unjustly spent significant periods of time in solitary confinement. A person whose political asylum case is listed among the most controversial in modern history. I'm talking about Benny Wenda and his struggle for self-determination for West Papua from Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, Benny Wenda.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone, listening my story. But it's not only my story. It is story of nations, of men and women and children who do not have the freedom that you enjoy everyday life. Please tell your friends, your family, your government about this. Because the West Papua story, now your story. Without your support, without your help, my people never free. please support Free My People, and I want to go back a free man where I come from. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The upcoming meeting of the Melanesian Spearhead Group discussing WestPapuan application. At the Melanesian Spearhead Group Leaders Summit in June upcoming month, the MSG member countries will make a formal decision on the application of West Papua for full membership. This was applied by the WestPapuan National Coalition for Liberation. The full membership application to the MSG has received widespread support among the fellow Melanesian nations. This year MSG celebrates their 25th anniversary, which would be a nice moment to include the Melanesian brothers and sisters from West Papua.
Senior officials from the Melanesian Spearhead Group will hold talks in Port Vila to discuss West Papua's bid for membership. The West Papua issue will take centre stage when the MSG's leaders from Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands and Vanuatu hold their annual meeting next month. Pacific correspondent Sean Dorney reports the membership bid highlights the ongoing struggle by West Papua for independence from Indonesia.
Last year, Indonesia was given observer status at the Melanesian Spearhead Group leaders meeting in Fiji. The Free West Papua movement was furious, but were told they had never applied for membership. They have now.
The application was launched to us early this year, and we conveyed it to the MSC chair, who is the Prime Minister of Fiji. And it's been circulated to all the members, all the leaders, and it's now going to go to the Leaders Summit in June in Numea.
That application was submitted by Dr. Otto Ondawami, the Port Vila-based Vice Chairman of the West Papua National Coalition for Liberation, who believes it has the support of 4 of the 5 MSG members, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, Fiji and the Coalition of Independence Parties in New Caledonia.
We hope that the Papua New Guinea will follow footsteps of the all other 4 Melanesian countries. And that means a lot of things for us. Politically means we defeat Indonesian cheap propaganda.
Vanuatu's new Prime Minister is totally in support.
Vanuatu should stand to its 2 feet to support the West Papua struggle.
But options other than full membership may be discussed. 4 of the current members are fully independent, and the 5th, the FLNKS in New Caledonia, is a recognised political force there.
It's quite a complicated issue in terms of the dynamics and in terms of the perceptions around the West Papua issue.
But the West Papuans in Port Vila are expecting success.
Oh yes, we are very happy and we will celebrate for 100 days.
The Melanesian Spearhead Group has been celebrating its formation 25 years ago, and next month it will discuss admitting a 6th member. Sean Dorney, ABC News.
Indonesian President wins award for tolerance. The Indonesian President has received an award for religious tolerance from the US-based Appeal of Conscience Foundation. The Indonesian government says this is also recognition for how far Indonesia has come since the days of dictatorship. National human rights organizations, however, say that crimes committed both against religions and crimes in the name of religion have increased, and sometimes with government and military involvement. This was all for now. We wish all of you a safe travels for coming months and hope to see you next time.